It is relatively unusual in Ukraine for authorities legitimate to invite you on a short notice trip. It turns out it is extra frequent for that invitation to come with very little detail. The main cause for that is security. It is not exactly clever to publicize when a minister is going to be somewhere, especially when you are being invaded by way of another country. We determined to accept, and soon found ourselves at an airfield close to Kyiv, where we and other journalists were led onto a helicopter. By this point we knew our destination was once the metropolis of Zaporizhzhia, and the subject used to be the growing chance from the region's nuclear electricity plant. In addition, south. Within 30 seconds of the experience starting, I realized why we were presented anti-nausea capsules before taking off. To stay undetected, the pilot continues the helicopter round 10 meters off the ground, now and again hurtling over electric power lines. There are endless fields of sunflowers. Some are in full bloom. Some are wilting. Previous. Their best. Regardless, the harvest is quickly approaching. Then there is the dense woodland, lots upon thousands of towering trees which come so shut to touching the skids of the chopper. You are left under no illusion of Ukraine's tremendous and rich landscape. After landing in Zaporizhzhia, you are struck by using two things: the more industrial skyline in evaluation to Kyiv, as well as the humidity. We give up at a grocery store. Automobile park the place. Emergency employees are dressed in yellow hazmat suits. They are practicing cleaning drills in the event of a radioactive contamination. They are watched by using senior officials, who are eager to see how ready the vicinity would be in the event of a worst-case scenario. Of route, we are concerned. Ukraine's Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko tells me the scenario changed dramatically when the Russians commenced shelling the vicinity. On 5 August, Ukraine says the scenario at the plant is approaching critical. Russian forces have occupied the site, Europe's biggest. Seeing that early March, they have been urged to hand control lower back because of the dangers, and some group of workers there have informed the BBC they're being saved at gunpoint. For the previous 2 weeks there may be been heavy shelling on and around the plant, with the sides blaming every other. NATO is the ultra-modern international employer to name. For United Nations inspectors to be let into the Zaporizhzhia electricity plant, claiming its seizure posed a serious risk to Ukraine and neighboring countries. Ukraine nuclear workers. We're saved. At gunpoint, real risk of nuclear catastrophe. In Ukraine, watchdog officials say the plant ought to be cut off from energy as Moscow tries to redirect electrical energy to Crimea, which it annexed 8 years ago. It is impossible to make sure the security of the nuclear strength plant whilst the Russian occupying forces are there, says Denis Monastyrsky, Ukraine's indoors minister. It is the key concern that we all ought to understand. He adds, the car park is additionally a location where Ukrainians who manipulate to make it out of Russian-occupied territories first arrive. There are queues of automobiles with humans and full suitcases. Sitting in the shade we meet Olena, who has simply made it out of the metropolis of Enerhodar, where the nuclear plant is located. It's scary. Very scary. There is shelling all the time, she says while bouncing her infant on her knee. There have been many more explosions and it grew to be too unsafe to continue to be there. I did not desire to leave home. However, I had no choice. This vehicle park represents Ukraine controlling what it can. Unable to force the Russians from Europe's biggest nuclear power plant. The U.S. is a substitute trying to put together. For the worst. If it happens,